Beacon Yogis. So we're going to be out of business for the next few weeks. So I thought I'd put together a short film that you can use, if you please, to just keep up on what we've been doing. And before you know it, we'll be back at the ashram and the Beacon Industrial Complex practicing just like normal. So we're going to start standing up today. Come to the top of your mat, spread your toes out nice and wide, set them down, and then root down into your heels so you feel like all four corners of your feet are pressing down, and then continue that downward push all the way from the hips down, and then try to get a sense of a lifting up feeling through your chest and a bringing the lower ribs back a little bit so you get yourself lined up. And now having your ears over your shoulders, relax your shoulders down and your shoulder blades in towards each other, and let your hands face forward slightly. And now we'll take it through a few sun salutation A's. So inhaling all the way up to your Urdhva Hastasana, arms overhead, straight arms. Exhale as you forward fold. Lean forward a little bit, but not so much to scrunch into your toes. And bend your knees as much as you need to support your lower back. As you inhale, straighten your back and elongate the spine. Exhale, place your hands down by your feet, and then step back to plank as you inhale, and then we'll come down into Chaturanga, moving slightly forward. And now coming forward into up dog onto the tops of your feet and your hands, or low cobra. Inhaling up, and then as you exhale, roll over your toes and find yourself into downward facing dog. So move around in down dog a little bit, pedaling your feet and just kind of feeling what's going on. And then you might also want to bend your knees as you inhale to get more of a feeling of pushing your hips up and away, and then try to keep your arms nice and straight. Breathe in and out through your nose. And as you inhale, elongate the spine, send the hips high, and as you exhale, start to relax your heels down towards the floor. So after 4 or 5 breaths, bend your knees and look forward. Keep looking forward as you inhale and walk your feet up to your hands, and then exhale into forward fold. And now push down on both feet as you lean forward and pivot from the hips and come all the way up, arms overhead again, keeping the arms straight and your shoulders down away from your ears. And then exhale, bring your arms back down alongside your body for mountain pose. And now we'll inhale, the arms come up. Exhale into a forward fold. Inhaling, reaching the chest forward. Keep the gaze going forward as you exhale and place your hands down on the mat. And then keep the gaze forward as you inhale and step back to your plank pose. And then exhale the Chaturanga, making sure your elbows brush against your ribs as you come down. And then coming forward again to your low cobra or up dog. And then exhaling, picking up the hips and finding your down dog. So pigeon toe your feet a little bit, just enough so you can't see your heels. And try to externally rotate your biceps so the creases of your elbows are pointing more towards the front of the mat. And then make sure you've got pressure in the thumb side of your hand and the index finger. Push into both hands to send the hips up and away. And as you exhale, draw your abs into your belly. And then bend your knees and look forward. And then as you inhale, walk yourself up to the top of the mat. And then we'll exhale into a forward fold. And now press into both feet as you lift your head, then your shoulders, and then finally coming up with your torso. Arms come up overhead. Make sure that your arm bones are rooted into the shoulder socket so you have a nice connection there. And we'll go one more time. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, looking forward. Keep the gaze forward as you exhale and place your hands down. And then inhale, step it back to plank. Exhale down to chaturanga. Full inhale as you come all the way to up dog. And then exhale, find yourself back in downward facing dog. Breathe in and out through the nose if it's available to you. Nice and slow and steady breathing. Relax the muscles in your face. Scan your body for any place you might be holding on to tension and try to release it. Exhale, bend the knees and look forward. Then as you inhale, walk your feet up to the top of the mat. Exhale into forward fold. And now inhale, pivoting from the hips, rise all the way up. Arms come overhead, and then exhale, back to Tadasana. So now we'll go to Shira Namaskar B, Sun Salutation B. So big inhale as you bend the knees and sit back into chair pose. Draw your biceps back along your ears and look in between your hands. And then exhale, straighten the legs and forward fold. Inhale, looking forward. Exhale, place your hands down. Inhale, stepping back to plank and make your way through a vinyasa. Most important to keep the elbows brushing against the ribs. And then exhale into downward facing dog. So now we're going to take a big step forward with the right foot somewhere near your right hand. Pivot the left foot down and push into the little toe side of your back leg. And then when you're ready to come up, inhale your way up into warrior one, bending into the front knee, making sure it's tracking over the second and third toe and not caving into the left. Inhale as you lift the chest and try to square your hips towards the front of the mat. And then exhale, pivot from the hips, come all the way forward and frame your right foot, step it back, lower down, inhaling to up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, and now we'll inhale, step the left foot forward, pivot the right foot down. So you're trying to square your hips towards the front of the mat, and you want to come up on an inhale, and you're sinking the hips down while you're lifting the chest up. So we'll inhale, push strongly into the back leg to try to square the hips forward. Check the left knee, make sure the knee stays right over the ankle or right behind it, and keep trying to bring the biceps back along your ears while your chest is lifting. And then exhale, reach the arms forward, frame the left foot, step it back, lower down to chaturanga, inhaling to your up dog, exhale, downward facing dog. Pigeon toe your feet so you cannot see your heels. And alternate between straight legs and bent knees. You'll feel a different effect depending on which way you do it. And then your head should be aligned with your arms, heading towards the wrist. Push into the to the thumb side of the hand. And keep trying to externally rotate the biceps. Keep your elbow creases going forward. And that will exhale, bend the knees, inhale, stepping up to the top of the mat, walk your toes all the way up to where your fingers are. And then we'll exhale into forward fold. And now inhale, deep squat, Utkatasana chair pose. Try to bring the biceps along your ears. Pivot from the hips as you inhale up, and then exhale. Come back to stand, and we'll do one more. Inhale to chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, looking forward. Exhale, place the hands down. Inhale as you step back to your plank pose. Come through your vinyasa flow nice and slowly, using a full breath for each motion. And then when you're ready to inhale, step your right foot forward, pivot the left foot down. Try to sink the right hip down as you inhale and come up, pushing strongly into the back leg. Keep trying to bring the biceps back, and then exhale, come forward. And now we'll inhale, left foot goes forward, right foot comes down. Inhaling up to your warrior one. As you inhale, try to lift up the chest and keep the arms straight as you draw them back. And then exhale, sink in by bending into the left knee a little bit more, but keep a constant pressure in the back leg. And then on an exhale, come all the way forward. Step the left leg back and go through vinyasa. And find yourself in down dog. So in down dog, your hands should be shoulder width apart and your feet are hip width apart. After 5 breaths, bend your knees and look forward, and then we'll inhale up to the top of the mat, and then exhale, forward fold. Deep squat to chair pose. Bring the biceps alongside your ears. Inhale as you pivot from the hips, and then when you can't inhale any longer, exhale, come up straight, and then arms come back down at your side. So now we'll take a turn to the right. Turn the right foot to the back of the mat. Have a nice wide stance here. And then take the left foot and turn it slightly towards the right one. Push into both legs. Extend your arms long. And your hips are out to the side of the mat. And then look out over the right fingertips. As you inhale, start to lean to the right. And then as you exhale, swivel the left hip in. Bring the right hip down, right hand down inside the right shin or onto the foot or toe. Take your left hand, peel your left hip open and your left shoulder back, and then take your left arm straight up in the air and close your left eye and look at the hand in the air with your right eye. And now you're trying to externally rotate both thighs so you can broaden across the front of the hips, and at the same time try not to let your butt stick out by taking the right hip and trying to move it forward towards the side of your mat. And then we'll exhale and look down. Inhale, come up. And then we'll pivot the feet and do the triangle pose on the left side. Udhita Trikonasana. So, hips are facing out through the side of the mat. Inhale, stretch both arms apart like you're being pulled apart. And then inhale and reach forward with the left hand. And then as you exhale, bring it down to the top of the foot or somewhere inside of the shin. Exhale, start to broaden open. So open the pelvis on the right side by peeling that right hip open and taking the right shoulder back. And then we'll close the right eye and look at your right hand in the air with the left eye. So inhale, extend through both sides of your waist. Let both sides of your waist get long. And then as you exhale, you can start to open up by pulling the fingers apart from each other and really expanding across the chest. And then we'll exhale and let it down. Inhale, come on back up. And then we'll exhale back to the top of the mat. So now we will inhale, the arms come up. Exhale into a forward fold. So here, either go through another vinyasa or go right to downward facing dog. I'll just do another vinyasa. So now we're going to step the right foot forward, left foot pivots down, railroad track your feet so there's a little width between them, and then we'll inhale and bring it up to warrior one. So warrior one, you're pushing into the left foot, little toe side of the left foot, engaging the arch of the foot, and trying to square your hips towards the front of the mat. And then we'll exhale and come down, step it back, go through another vinyasa. Vinyasas are optional here. You can go right to down dog, and then we'll inhale the left foot forward, pivot the right foot down, and come on up to warrior one on the left side. So warrior one, we're trying to sink the hips down. We're trying to externally rotate the left thigh to keep it from caving in. Lifting with the chest, but relaxing the shoulders down away from the ears. And then we'll exhale, come forward. Inhale, step it back to downward facing dog. And now we'll inhale, step the right foot forward, pivot the left foot down, and now we want the heel of the right foot lined up with the heel of the left foot. And we'll first come up with straight legs, hips facing out to the side of the mat, and then we'll exhale, walk the back foot back a little bit farther and come down into warrior two. So warrior two, you want the right knee out to the right over the second and third toe. Torso stays vertical here. We're not leaning forward or backwards. Push into the little toe side of the back leg and externally rotate that thigh so you're peeling the left hip open to the left, and then sink your hips down. Look out over the right fingertips. Inhale, rise up with the chest. Tuck your tailbone under here. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper. One more inhale, and then we'll windmill the arms down. Step the right foot back. Either go through vinyasa or come into down dog at this point. Inhale, step the left foot forward, pivot the right foot down, and then we'll, leading the hips low, come on up with straight arms. So your arms, you want to feel, flex the heels out so you can feel, flexing the heels of your hands, the nerves going all the way down your arm, and then straighten your fingers so you can feel the pull from both sides. At the same time, relax the shoulders down away from the ears. The left knee is lined up over the second and third toe, and you're starting to bend into it. Keep the knee behind the ankle and push into the little toe side of the right foot so you can feel the arch engage in the foot, and tuck your tailbone under. And now inhale, lift up, rise up with the chest. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper. And then exhale, windmill it down, step it back, go through a vinyasa flow here, and we end up in downward facing dog. So now let's inhale, step the right foot forward, pivot the left foot down, come up into your warrior two, and now we'll flip the right palm up, inhale, come back to peaceful warrior. You can look back at the hand that's going sliding down the left leg, or keep looking at the hand that's in the air. And now we'll exhale. Take the right forearm on the right thigh, windmill the left arm around for side angle stretch, Parsvakonasana. So here, we're lined up in our down dog leg, our Warrior Two legs, your chin is into your armpit, and you have one straight line from the little toe side of your left foot all the way out to your left fingertips. As you inhale, elongate through the whole side of your body, and then as you exhale, start to twist open to the left. You can go a little bit deeper by taking your right fingertips down onto the floor or onto a block. All optional. Or stay up on the with the elbow on the thigh and use that to help twist your torso open so that it's almost facing the ceiling. And then we'll windmill it down, come back to Warrior Two by just pivoting from the hips, and then exhale, windmill down, step it back, go through Vinyasa here, or just meet right up in Downward Facing Dog. So now we'll inhale, step the left foot forward, right foot pivots down, coming up by moving from the hips, sink down into the left knee, tuck the tailbone under, push into both legs to get a lifted feeling, and then we'll take the right hand on the right thigh, flip the left palm over, inhale up to Peaceful Warrior. As you inhale, feel the whole left side of your body start to open up, yet not kinking into the right side, so you want to feel length in both sides of your body. And then we'll exhale, take the left forearm on the left thigh, bring the right arm around and up, and now the chin is into the right armpit. Inhale as you pull the fingertips away from the little toe side and push into the little toe side of your foot to elongate the entire side of your body. And then exhale, start to open it out to the right. And if you came down onto your fingertips on the other side, you'll want to do it here as well. Keep trying to bring the right arm back almost behind your head. And then we'll windmill it down, leaving your hips low. Come back up to Downward Facing Dog, and then we'll exhale down, take it back, go through Vinyasa, and then exhale into Downward Facing Dog. And now we'll inhale. Take the feet up to the top of the mat. Exhale into a forward fold. As you inhale, come up out of it and elongate the spine. And then exhale, bend the knees and forward fold. And now try the opposite. As you inhale, start to straighten the legs and pick up on the sit bones. And then exhale, let the back of your head and neck go long. And now we'll inhale, lifting the head, then the shoulders, arms come all the way up. Reach the arms overhead and then exhale it down. And now we'll take a balance. So we'll do tree pose today. So we're gonna bend the knees and then take the right foot up and either put it into the shin, or you can just have the toes on the floor against your ankle into the shin, or bring the foot all the way up into the thigh. Anywhere except your knee is fine. And then take your right hand on the right knee, open it up, and take your left fingers on your left side of your pelvis and make sure that it stays out to the left. So you're trying to broaden across the front of your body. And then we take the hands together to your heart center. Keep trying to bring the right knee out to the right without moving the left knee in. And then you can add the arms overhead. So we're pushing the sole of the foot into the leg and the leg into the sole of the foot. And the standing leg is pushing strongly down into the floor as we rise up through the top of our head and lengthen the spine. The arms are extended, but the shoulder blades are relaxed. And now we bring the hands into heart center, bring the knee back and set it down, and we set up for the other side. So whatever you do on one side, try to match that on the other side. So we bring the left leg up this time, establish the foot pushing into the leg and the leg into the foot. Make sure you're broadening across the pelvis. Hands come together, thumbs into your sternum. And then you can start to bring the arms up. And then we'll bring the hands together, take them down, and turn them to front. And now we'll do a little bit more shoulder opening up here. Another balancing pose. We'll take the arms straight out, cross the right arm over the left, bend your elbows up, and then interlace your palms if you can. If not, just have your arms like such. Okay, so right arm's over the left. So now we're going to take the left leg up, cross it over, and if this is enough, fine. Otherwise, you can hook your foot around your calf. And then start to bend into eagle pose. Probably step off the rug to do this. Okay, and now if you get the foot hooked around the calf, then you can start to bend into your knees and lower down. You want to pick your elbows up and then tip your wrists away from your face so you start to feel the shoulders opening up and the upper back muscles. And then we'll exhale and let it all out. And then come down, and same on the other side. So if you're on a rug, on a mat on a rug, it's sometimes easier to step off so you have a little bit more of a stable surface. And then we'll cross the left arm over the right, tip it up. So this could be enough here, just as a nice shoulder opener, picking the elbows up and then tipping the wrists away. And then if you want to go a step further and add in a balance, you'll pick the right leg up, cross it over, and then we try to hook the foot behind the calf. One step at a time. These are only suggestions, so you want to keep trying to lift up on the elbows and tip them away and look through the spot that's between the wrist and the elbows, and then we'll let it all out. And then come back to the top of the mat, and then we'll do a little bit of hip opening now. So inhale, the arms come up. Exhale, bend your knees as you forward fold. Come all the way down. Lay your chest right on your thighs. Exhale here to press all the wind out of your lungs. And then on an inhale, start to rise up with your sit bones and let the chest rise forward as the back gets nice and straight. And then exhale, release, and then we'll step back to plank. And before we get to the hip openers, we'll stay in plank for a few breaths. So engage your ab muscles, try to draw them up while you push down into both your feet and your hands. And then we'll take the feet to the left, so your hand is down in front of where your face was. And then start by taking the right hand on the right hip, pick your hips up, and then as long as you're feeling stable, you could take the right arm into the air, and then you can start to take your gaze to the hand that's in the air if you're feeling stable. And then if you want to go a little bit further, you can start to pick the leg up on the side, but keep lifting up on the hips. And then we'll exhale, come back to plank. Feel free to come down to hands and knees if you want to recenter yourself before we go to the other side. And then when you're ready, pick it back up to plank. I'll wait for you. And now we move the right hand in a little bit. We're gonna turn onto the side, the little toe side of the right foot. So the right hand is lined up with the feet. Body's nice and straight. Pick up the hips. You can also do this on your elbow. Probably should have started with. And then pick up the hips. Whoa. And it's okay to lose your balance. Just come back if you do. Another way to do this is to take your foot and take your left foot in the front. And another way to make this a little bit easier is to come down and just do it on your elbows. And that makes lifting the leg a lot easier as well. So now we'll exhale, come back to center, and then we'll sit back for child's pose for a couple of breaths. So now we'll come back up to hands and knees. And we'll do some cat-cows here. So line up with your hand shoulder width apart, your shoulders over your wrists, and then have your hips over your knees. So your thighs and your arms are straight up and down, and your knees are hip width apart, and the tops of your feet are on the floor. And try to get a sense that all 5 toes are touching. And then as you inhale, drop your belly down, tip your tailbone up, and take your gaze to where the ceiling meets the wall. And then exhaling, push into both hands, round your back. Try to separate your shoulder blades from each other, and then tuck your tailbone under. Inhale back into cow, releasing the belly down, arching the back. Exhaling into cat pose, draw your abs up into your spine, really draw them up, and use that to drop the tailbone down. Go back and forth a couple of times. And then we're gonna curl the toes under, inhale, look forward, exhale into downward facing dog. And now on an inhale, we're gonna step the right foot forward, and this time lower the left knee down. Make sure the left thigh's going back and down on an angle. Come on up on your fingertips, keep the right knee over your right ankle or behind it. Shoulders away from the ears, come up on the fingertips, and then we'll start to straighten the right leg. Bring the body, torso straight up and down. And now inhale. Take your arms up overhead. Really root your arm bones down into your shoulder sockets and allow the shoulders to sink down. And then as you exhale, start to come forward with the pelvis. So you're sinking the right hip down, coming down and forward with the pelvis. Feeling this in the quad and bending into the right knee. And make sure you don't feel any kind of pressure in the lower back. You should feel this all in the hips and in the front of the left leg, the quad muscles. Keep trying to bring the arms back behind your ears, straighten your elbows here. And then we'll exhale, bring your arms down, and now take the right arm, right hand on the right knee. Inhale up the left arm again, lengthen out through the whole left side of your body, and then as you exhale, start to come forward and bring the elbow to the outside of the knee or resting on the knee. And then you'll take your hands together, relax your right elbow down onto the right side body, and start to draw your thumbs in towards your chest, which means you're going to come up off of your thigh a little bit, and then you can stay here, inhaling and elongating, and then exhaling and twisting open, or go a little bit deeper by straightening the left leg. And if you straighten the left leg, make sure you're pushing out through the heel of the leg, and the leg is nice and straight and strong. And then you can inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist open. And then after 4 or 5 breaths, on an exhale, release, come back to center, and then we'll walk the right foot out to the right. Bring your right shoulder inside of the right knee, and then make sure the left leg is still going back and down on an angle. Come on up again on your fingertips and feel how that starts to stretch open the quadricep muscles as well as the right hip. And then to go deeper, start to walk your hands forward, bend your elbows here, and you can either come down onto some books or blocks or just suspend yourself. Come down as far as till you just start to feel some tension, and then inhaling, try to keep the back nice and straight. Try not to round it so much. Think about as if you're trying to bring your left quadricep towards the floor and still elongate the spine out in a diagonal. And then if you stay long enough, your elbows will start to come down towards the floor, and then you want to try to hug the right knee into the right shoulder. You can go a little deeper here by straightening, by taking the left knee off the floor, but totally not necessary. Make sure your elbows stay even. It'll be a little bit harder to bring the right elbow down in this case, so try to keep them even. And then we'll exhale and then start to come back up, and then we'll just take the right knee back. Inhaling, looking forward, exhaling into downward facing dog. And now we're going to inhale and step the left foot forward, right knee comes down, and you might want to walk the right leg back a little bit more. Come down onto the top of the right foot, and then we'll start by coming up on the fingertips while you're sinking the hips down. So think about elongating the spine and lengthening out. And for many of us, this is enough of a stretch, just staying here like this. And then to go further, start to almost straighten the left leg so you can get yourself vertical. And then we'll take the arms up overhead, making sure the arms stay straight. If they can't stay straight, have them a little bit farther apart or reach them out in front of you a little bit. Otherwise, have them go straight up. And then as you exhale, start to bend into the left knee, sinking the hip down, and feeling the opening now on the right side and as well as the left hip. A little bit of pressure into the back foot that's on the floor will help intensify it a little bit more if you're not feeling it enough. Every inhale is a chance to lift up with the chest and open and expand, and each exhale is letting go and releasing whatever was holding on in the hip area and letting it get deeper. So now we'll bring the arms down, take the left hand on the left knee, inhale, the right arm comes up, exhale, take that length, bring it over the top, over the knee. Take your time setting this up, and then we'll take the hands together, draw them into your heart center, and then if you straighten the knee on the other side, do so on this side. So we're trying to get the thumbs right into the center of the chest. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. And then we'll exhale, lower the knee down, take the right knee back, and then we'll exhale into a child's pose. And now we'll inhale, walk the hands in, sit up on your heels for a breath in hero's pose. And then we'll exhale here, and now we'll come around to sit. So, first seated pose, we'll do Dandasana. So first, remove the fleshy parts so you can feel your sit bones rooting down into the mat. And then take the little toe side of your feet and try to draw them back towards your shoulders so your feet aren't, instead of being curled in, or more out like this. Point your toes straight up, sit up nice and tall, and you can take your hands down at your hips. Inhale, and then as you exhale, tuck your chin into your chest and then push down into both hands, straightening the arms. Keep trying to pull the toes back towards your head. And then exhale and release. And then we'll inhale, the arms come up. And then as you exhale, start to come forward, and only come forward as far as you can and still keep your back straight. And then take your arms down onto your shins, or you can make yoga toe lock here. Better to start in a more easy position and just let your breath take you deeper. So once you're set up in this, you inhale, push into your sit bones to elongate the spine, and then as you exhale, start to fold forward, taking the head towards the feet. And now you can tuck your chin all the way into your chest and just keep repeating that up and over motion. So inhale, push down on the back of the legs to help propel your spine forward, and then exhale, come a little further. You can make yoga toe lock here and do this. Try not to rely too much on your hands, just up and over with the spine, and try not to round the back so much. Try to keep a nice, straight, strong spine, and eventually, as your body loosens up, it'll bring you deeper into the pose. Eventually your back's going to round a little bit, but don't start out by rounding your back. And now we'll inhale and come on up. And then we did the Western stretch, so now we'll do the Eastern stretch by taking your hands with your fingers pointing down towards your feet, bring them back behind you. Stretch your toes forward. As you inhale, pull the toes forward. As you exhale, pick your hips up and try to touch your toes to the floor. And if your toes don't quite touch, then bend your knees a little bit. And then next, start to pick the hips up and keep pointing the toes forward. And then if your neck is fine, you can relax your head back. So every inhale is pulling the toes towards the floor. Every exhale is trying to rise the hips up higher. And then we'll exhale and release, come back down to sit. And then we'll bend the right leg in, take the foot and put it down inside of the left leg, and be mindful of your knee here. So if you have any kind of knee pain at all, then you want to keep the foot, the bent leg more towards the knee area. If you have your knees are fine, you can have the foot all the way back into your groin. So now, make sure both sit bones are rooted down. Take your right hand outside the left leg, left hand behind, sit up nice and straight. Exhale, twist. Do this for a couple of breaths. You want to get your torso lined up over the left leg. And then when you're ready, you can start to come forward. You can push into the left hand a little bit to help send your torso forward, and then walk your hand down the left leg, either the outside of the leg or the outside of the foot, and then cross the left wrist over the right. And now inhale, extend, exhale, forward fold. Let the right knee splay out to the right. Inhale, push into the extended leg to extend your body forward. Exhale, come forward, relax the right knee out to the right. And then inhale and release. Other side. So one side's always easier than the other. So sit up nice and tall. Turn the body, spend some time, get the body lined up before you go any further. And then we'll inhale, rising up. Exhale, start to walk the left hand down the outside of the left leg. Come to the spot where you're starting to feel resistance, and then we cross the wrist over. Take a few breaths here, and then as it starts to loosen up, you can get your hand all the way to the outside of the little toe side of the right foot, and then inhaling by extending long with the spine, and then exhaling, letting the head go towards the foot and the left leg splay out to the left. And then inhale and release. And now we'll do a twist. So we'll take the right knee up, take the foot, place it to the outside of the left knee, lean to the left, fold the left leg under, and then sit back up. Make sure you're sitting down on both sit bones are evenly pressing down into the mat. You can readjust your foot here. Make sure that you can feel a good solid foundation under the right foot so you're able to push that down. And then we'll take the right arm up and back behind us, have the palm up, right up against your spine. Take your left hand, reach it around the right knee, and then as you inhale, push down on the sit bones to lift up through the top of your head, and then exhale, start to come to the right. Here you can push into the right foot to help aid in the twist. Inhale, extend, exhale, take your gaze over the right shoulder. Should be no pressure in the neck here. Let the gaze be dictated by how far you're able to twist your torso. Inhale, feel your insides pressing against the bent knee, and then exhale, using that pressure to squeeze all the air out of your lungs. And then we'll exhale and release, counter twist to the left for one breath, and then exhale and release. Left foot comes to the outside of the right knee, lean over to the right, and then we'll sit back up, readjust yourself. If both sit bones are not touching the floor, so if your left sit bone is lifted here, then just concentrate on sitting up straight like this and feeling both sit bones pressing into the mat. Once you feel that, then you're ready for the next step, which is to take the left arm behind, have the heel of the hand right behind your spine. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, twist open now to the left. And then exhale, release. And now let's come to lay on your back. So bend your knees in. Walk your heels up towards your tailbone. Reach your fingertips down by your heels. Try to keep like a fist width between your knees. So now we'll inhale here, and then as you exhale, start to pick your hips up. And now start to walk your shoulder blades in towards each other and interlace your fingers under the mat, or just grab a hold of the sides of the mat and try to walk your shoulder blades in towards each other. And now from here, take your attention to your feet and imagine that you're trying to push your feet forward on the mat, only instead of moving your feet, use that pressure to send your hips even higher. So keep your knees together. Imagine you're squeezing a block between your knees, and then as you inhale, draw your chest towards your chin, and then exhale, pick the hips up. Keep trying to walk the shoulder blades in towards each other. See if you can touch your pinky fingers to the floor. And breathe. And then we'll exhale and release. Very slowly, hug your knees in. Inhale, release your knees. As you exhale, squeeze them in. And then we'll turn the feet towards the ceiling. Grab a hold of the outsides of your feet for happy baby. And then before you go any further, try to press your lower back down into the mat. And then exhale, you can use your arms to pull your knees down into your armpits, trying to maintain your back flat on the floor, so try not to let your lower back round too much. And then we'll exhale and release. And then we'll pick up the right knee, cross it over the left. With your arms down at your side, pick up your hips, swing them to the right about an inch or two, set them down, and now spread your arms wide out to the side. And then as you exhale, let the right knee fall over to the left while your gaze goes over to the right. Try to keep both shoulders on the floor, and your knees should be about the height of your belly button. So with your shoulders comfortably on the floor, you can take your left hand and start to urge that right knee a little bit further over, but don't apply too much pressure. Let it come to you. If you just stay like this and breathe in and out, eventually the knee will go further on its own. But if you want to feel a little more intensity, you can add just a little bit. And now we'll inhale, coming back to center. And now we'll pick the left knee up, cross it over the right, pick up the hips, move them to the left a couple of inches, and then slowly let it come over. Again, if you want a little more intensity, you know what's right for you, and you know where this feels good, so you can just use your right hand to ease it over a little bit more, or just stay in this position long enough. The key is to make sure you keep both shoulders on the floor. And now we'll inhale and release, uncross the legs. And if there's anything you want to do before Shavasana, go ahead and do that now. Otherwise, set up for Shavasana by extending your legs straight out or with bent knees. Open your palms to face the ceiling. Close your eyes. And relax, starting with the muscles in your face, and then just survey your body. Let your breath slow down, and then stay in Shavasana for 4 or 5 minutes. And that's it. Let me know what you think. So after Shavasana, you'll walk your knees in, hug them in, roll around a little bit, and then when you're ready, roll to one side, and we'll come back up to a seated position, crossing your legs in front. And then we'll take our hands together, thumbs into the sternum, bow your head as a gesture of gratitude for yourself for making the time for this and keeping yourself sane during this weirdness that's all going on around us. Namaste, everybody. We'll see you soon.